Okay, how about it? Welcome everybody to the April 3rd edition of Speaking of Zane. It's the 186th week. I think that's right. Seems like that was last week. Maybe that was 185 last week. But 186, I believe. 186 times we've gotten together to talk about Zane and other things. And I appreciate you guys being here. Sure do. I totally forgot today to schedule. Usually sometime in the afternoon, I'll schedule this and it'll show up on Facebook and remind everybody, but I totally forgot today and I just had to do it on the fly. But people are showing up. Ken is there. Aaron up in Michigan's there. Hey, Aaron, founder of Running to Honor. We're looking forward to our run in July to once again participate. To be our third year doing that with Aaron and that team. We'll probably do it right here in Woodstock. Well, not right here. We're in Ackworth, but we'll probably go over to Woodstock where we do it, where there's a nice flat. Let's see. It's 2.5K out, 2.5K back. So, and it's right there off of downtown Woodstock. Always things going on there. So, appreciate you getting us hooked on that, Aaron. Thank you very much for that great work that you do, raising money for to honor those who we have lost. All right, let's see who's in. Dan Jeffers is in there. Hey, Dan. Darryl's in there. Hey, Darryl. Jim Miller's in there. How's it going, Jimbo? And Katie Aaron's in there. Katie up in Michigan as well. Nice little post about your daughters and their bond and their love-hate relationship. I know at that age, I know Charlotte and Hannah, Lori will correct me if I get anything wrong, but they fought because they're so different. But at the end of the day, they were just like best buddies, you know. But they're like, what are they, Lori? A couple years apart, I think. But good to have everybody in there. Let's see, what do we got going on this week? Last week I mentioned about Kathy Cobb's father, Ed Burke, had passed away, and Kathy has been working on coordinating his funeral service, and we got the information that it's going to actually be in Savannah. So I think it conflicts with the day that Lori's mom's flying in, I believe. I didn't get a chance to look, but I think that's true. And either way, I will run down there. It's on a Saturday. I will go down to attend the funeral. And found out it's in April, so April 23rd. So plenty of time to work on that. In fact, I fired off a mission request to the Patriot Guard Riders today at Kathy's request, and I got a notification back that they'll assign the local ride captain, they call him, and he should be in touch with me here in the next day or so, and we'll see if it's going to work out. and that will be very nice if it does. It's an amazing group that honors every veteran when they pass, if they're able to, if they can get enough people, and they've been impacted by COVID and all that too. But I think we're just about past all that. But we really grew fond of those guys when they came and participated in Zane's funeral and lined the way at the funeral home where we had the ceremony. And then it was snowing that day here in Georgia, and they could not formally ride in a group because the weather doesn't permit it. In fact, there was to be, for Zane's procession, there was to be a police escort as well, and we were not able to have that. But the Patriot Guard riders, they bent over backwards. They lined the exit there at the funeral home, and then they drove to the cemetery, and they did a flag line right there at the where we had the ceremony at Georgia National. So I really do appreciate what they do, and so we'll see if they're able to accommodate. Should be plenty of notice, about 20 days. So hopefully they will be able to participate. All right. Well, we did have another birthday in the family, 2 birthdays in the family. In fact, yesterday, April the 2nd, our youngest son, Jackson, and his wife, Caitlin, share the same birthday. How about that? They are 1 year apart. Zane is 1 year older. I think I got that right. Lori's much better at these kind of things than I am, but they share the same birthday. So Lori and I went over there. Lori and I and Everett, our little grandson, went over to their house, to Jackson's house Friday night, and celebrated their birthday. We had dinner and played some darts. And then their little girl, Carson, who's 2, spent the weekend with us. And boy, that girl's a pistol. That girl does not stop. And to top that off, she wouldn't take a nap today. In fact, she climbed out of the crib. She figured out she can get out of this crib that we have in one of the spare bedrooms. And Lori said, "Hey, can you go check on her? Because I think we got a baby monitor in there." And she said, "I think she's got the baby monitor." I'm like, "Well, the baby monitor's on the bed. She's in the crib. Well, you better check her." So I walked down the hallway to check on Carson, and I opened the door, and she said, "Oh, hey." And she's standing. She had gotten out of the baby bed all by herself. Now she knows she can. She will every time, I'm sure. But oh, hey. So anyway, she got up, and I took her down to Grammy. But Lori took Everett and Carson out to get to an Easter photo shoot today, and I understand that there were baby ducks and rabbits and all kind of stuff involved. So we'll see how that goes. Lori does great things with all that stuff. I suck at that kind of stuff, but Lori does a great job with all the pictures and birthdays and all of that stuff. And thank God I've got her, or I would be rudderless in that realm. Okay, let's see. No news on the neighbors, really. The house fire 2 weeks ago now. They got 2 big dumpsters out front. I guess there is some news. They got 2 big dumpsters out front now, and they're beginning to empty the house, contractors. And one thing I noticed, that anything that could hold smoke, any material or fiber, things like sofas and mattresses and stuff, anything that you can't get smoke out of, went straight into the dumpsters. And it looked like they were some of the wood furniture and things they were loading up in a different truck. So maybe those can be cleaned and they don't absorb the smoke, I guess. But anyway, I'm sure they were back and forth several times over the week. And I'm sure it's just heartbreaking to watch their stuff go in the bin there. But it looks like it's underway. Lori talked to her one day during the week, and it sounds like it's going to be as much as 18 months or so before they'll be back in their house. So We'll see what happens. I did a little yard work today, got some weed eating and edging and that kind of stuff done. So I walked on over and took care of all theirs for them so they didn't have to worry about it. Not that it really matters. I got 2 big dumpsters in the driveway, but anyway, that's the update on the wards. All right, let's see. Weight loss update, 32 pounds. How about that? 32 pounds. So not too shabby. We are in our final week. So this thing all started with a challenge, a health challenge at work. And otherwise, I probably wouldn't have done it. But I formed a little team with people that are on my team at work. And they're all about half my age or younger. And I decided they were not going to beat me. And so I'm still in the lead on our little team of 5. But most of them are doing pretty good. But we're in our last week. We do our final weigh-in on Friday, April the 8th. So we'll see how we do. Last time I checked, we're at there's about 130 teams, I think, of 5. Teams of 5, 130. And we're in about 14th or 15th place. So I don't know if the top 15 wins anything, but we're up at the top still. But we will see how it goes. I tell you what, I'm not hungry. I'm maybe eating a snack for lunch and 1 meal a day, and it's mostly meat. And I am not hungry. I don't miss sugar, carbs, anything like that. It's amazing how that works. And I'm an ice cream lover. I'm a potato lover. I'm a rice lover, but I haven't really missed it. Now, if you told me I had to give up coffee, we might have another story. But coffee's actually good on a no carb, low carb, carnivore kind of diet, and just put heavy whipping cream in it, and some artificial sweetener like monk fruit or stevia. But anyway, that's the name of that tune. I'll let you guys know how we did next week because the challenge will be over. But my challenge isn't over. I've got some more to go to hit my personal goal. Well, geez, I know there were some other things going on this week, but let's see what's happening at work. Got the green light to do a graduation ceremony for my first class. They'll finish the 1-year program that I created at the end of May, and then we're going to actually gather them all up in St. Louis at our headquarters for an official graduation and make a big deal out of it. So that'll be late June. But looks like I may head up there in a couple of weeks, well, maybe 3 weeks to St. Louis, do a little planning, spend a few days up there. Our company's officially back to the office. All of our headquarters people are back to the office tomorrow. Or we'll see, some will be work from home and work from the office some days of the week. But anyway. Let's see. Yeah, Colton had a birthday last week. We mentioned that last week. He turned 10 years old. And amazing to think, 10 years old. But, yep, he turned, yeah, Jim, they survived me. Well, they're not done yet. I think you're talking about my students. But, well, I've got, there's 2 more months, and I've got I've been experimenting on them quite a bit. There's another group that's in flight behind them, and another group I'm preparing to start in July. But I've been experimenting on them, so they've got some heavy lift items coming in May or in April and May to finish things out. So we'll see if they like me at the end of it all. But there's Matt Aaron. Hey, Matt. Darryl's right. Coffee is one of life's essentials. I love the ritual of it as much as I do the taste. But all right, let's see. Yeah, Colton. So Colton turned 10. He got a phone of his own. I don't know if it was for his birthday, but he got it about a month or so ago. So he's been texting and calling me and Grammy, and really proud he has his own phone. Of course, he has limits on it, when he can use it and stuff. But Grammy sent him some gaming card for some game that he wanted. But anyway, yeah, he's a pistol for sure. Yeah, 10 years. I got some things of Zane's I want to give him eventually. I just don't know when the time is right. I've got, items of Zane's I want him to have, but I don't know. I want him to appreciate them, and I want his parents, approval and all that stuff. But I've got so many things I want to share with him. But it's a difficult situation. I mean, Zane passed away when he was 4. He referred to Zane for the longest time as his 4-year-old dad. And now he's got another dad, Will, who's in the Navy, a great guy. And I just don't know. It's a really weird situation. Abby's so great, but I don't want to overstep, anything. And so we'll see how things develop over the years. But he's a good kid for sure. All right. Well, what is the hat of the week? The hat of the week always has something to do with what we got going on or what we're involved in. And I don't know if you can see that or not, but since it's Jackson's birthday, I picked something that has to do with Jackson. And this is a hat Jackson got me, and he has one like it too, I think. And it's oh gosh, let me get it's the Air Force Special Operation Command, which he was a part of there, flying on the gunships. So because of Jackson's birthday, how old is Jackson, Lori? I think he's 25. I think he's 25 now. And getting real close to getting his check ride. And boy, life has thrown some curveballs at him. What did I say, Ken? Yeah, AC-130 gunship. The J model, the Ghost Rider, which is the new variant. That was his baby. But what was I saying? Anywho, yeah. So that was the hat of the week. Okay, what else do we got going here? We do have some this week in military history items, and 2 of these are thanks to Ken, who posted these in the Speaking of Zane Facebook group. So if anybody ever has any military history items that you want to share, put them in there. Ken does. On April 1st, 1893 was the institution of the rank of Chief Petty Officer in the Navy. Big deal in the Navy when you become an E7, a Chief Petty Officer. It's a pretty big deal. They change uniforms at that rank. They get all kind of different responsibilities. It's a little more delineated than the other branches, from E6 to 7. And we were anticipating that our son-in-law, Will, Colton's new daddy, we're anticipating that at some point along the way, he's been in like 14 years, I think, that he would attain the rank of Chief Petty Officer. He's a Petty Officer First Class, which is an E6. But I mentioned a couple of weeks ago, he got selected for Limited Duty Officer, which is Chief Warrant Officer. So he's going to be a commissioned officer in the Navy instead of going to become a Chief Petty Officer. So kind of cool. Yeah, Dan, I was going to mention Steve when we get to the Veteran Cemetery Challenge, because he has an entry in this week's Veteran Cemetery Challenge. More about that in a minute. I'm envious too. I tell you, I didn't take as good advantage of being stationed in England for 5 years as I should have, as I would today. Although Lori and I had some glorious trip our last year there to Europe, but I would do a lot of different things these days. Okay, so this is another contribution from Ken. On March the 31st of 1972, so 50 years ago, a B-52 crashed at McCoy Air Force Base in Orlando, Florida. There's a marker. In fact, there's a B-52 on a stick, as well as a marker for that crashed B-52 there near the airport, Orlando International, whose airport code is MCO, which goes back to the dates of McCoy. How about that, Ken, for some multi-layered trivia there? Thank you, my friend. But Godspeed to the crew of that B-52 who perished that day. All right. And then I saw this today when I was just kind of doing nothing. On April the 3rd, today is the birthday, on this date in 1926, the birth of Gus Grissom. His formal name, Virgil Ivan Grissom, nicknamed Gus. He was an American astronaut and one of the original Mercury pilots. Mercury, Project Mercury astronauts, and he was in the Air Force, of course. But there's an Air Force base named after Gus Grissom. Darryl has been stationed there. But anyway, Grissom was killed along with fellow astronauts Ed White and Roger Chaffee during a training exercise and a pre-launch test for the Apollo 1 mission at the Kennedy Space Center. Basically, the capsule, there was a capsule caught on fire, the inside of the capsule, and there was a big deal about 100% oxygen, feeding the fire. So rest in peace, American astronauts, and happy birthday, Gus Grissom. Okay, well, let's see. Move on to the Veteran Cemetery Challenge. And I know Darryl visited Jefferson Barracks National Cemetery, as he does. Darryl has to be in pretty rough shape not to make a visit to Jefferson Barracks. It's about a 17-mile one way, I think, for Darryl, something like that. And so it's not like it's right around the corner. But Darryl, did I get that right? It's 20 miles for us to go see Zane, 20-ish. But anyway, Darryl has to be ill, really ill, not to go visit Jefferson Barracks at least once a week. Sometimes he's there twice a week. And sometimes he'll tell you in his post that that it's not necessarily, him. 35 miles one way. Okay. It's not necessarily him, but he'll tell you that Wanda sort of beckons him. He feels this overwhelming urge to go to see her and replace flowers. He's as good as Lori is about the flowers there. And I admire you, Darryl. I really do. I sure do. All right. And then the other visit that I'm aware of this week came from Steve and Kathy Shirley, as my friend there, Dan, mentioned. They took another trip to Europe, and they had the opportunity to visit the American Cemetery there at Omaha Beach in Normandy. And a couple hours ago, Steve posted some photos there on the Speaking of Zane Facebook group, so you can all go take a look. But just an incredible. I get goosebumps just looking at pictures of it. I can't imagine being there. But Steve and Kathy, I'm not sure when they'll be home, but Steve, if you're watching the replay or if you're listening to us, thank you for posting there, and thank you for visiting. It's an incredible place. So that's Darryl made a visit and Steve made a visit. So I think we had 2 visits this week. And Jim, did you stop by Omaha this week? I know it's on autopilot for you. You have to go right by there on the way and on the way back. So I don't know if you went this week or not, but if you didn't, we had 2 visits this week. If you did, we had 3, and we're up to 592 visits. That American Cemetery was not a new one for us because Dan Stussey's son made a visit there when he was in high school a couple years ago. So we've had a couple of visits now to the American Cemetery there at Omaha Beach. So good stuff. Good stuff. We're about to hit 600 visits. Wow. I would have never imagined that I had this close group of friends, and between us, we would make 600 visits to Veteran Cemetery just over a few year period. Just an incredible thing. And we've done that to 152 different locations. It's crazy. All right. Well, let's see. How about the Thank a Vet Challenge? you guys certainly do your best to make sure people know that they're appreciated. And we had quite a few thanks this week. In fact, we'll start out with Steve since I'm talking about him. He's with a group they're traveling with, and there's some vets, I guess, among the group. And so Steve got to thank 5 Navy vets, 4 Army vets, and 2 Air Force vets for a total of 11 vets. He hit an Aunt Paula-like jackpot, you might say, or Lori jackpot. Lori and Aunt Paula seem to hit these big jackpot of veterans. But yeah, Steve said he hadn't been able to have any conversations or learn anything about him, but he thought he might be able to. It was today or tomorrow. So that'd be cool if he can report back to us. One of the Navy guys, he said, was a river rat, if you know what that is. All right, Darryl had a couple of encounters this week. World War II, Darryl had a World War II Navy vet that he helped out at the gas pump. Darryl, thank you for doing that. And I tell you, our World War II vets are getting real thin, for sure. And Darryl also ran into a Marine Corps vet there at the same gas station. So I love it. I love it. And then Ken had a Navy vet at the Home Depot. You'll find a lot of vets at Home Depot and Lowe's, won't you? And Kroger, and Lori at the post office. But yeah, so Ken had a Navy vet. Katie had a Marine Corps vet, Vietnam vet. Katie is the Vietnam vet queen of this challenge. So she ran into one and had a good conversation with him. See you, Matt. Take care, buddy. And then I met him. I had a very unusual interaction today. Well, it wasn't an interaction. It was just an encounter. I was doing my afternoon walk, and I ran into a Marine Corps vet, and we were both in our walk, and we just acknowledged each other. And I said, thank you. And I know he lives on that stretch, so I may try to keep an eye out for him and learn a little about him next time. So if I add up all the thank yous, I think we're at 16 thank yous for this week, not too doggone shabby. And we're sitting at 1,378 thank yous. That's 1,378 times somebody has heard from somebody in this group. Thank you. I appreciate you. How about that? That's pretty good in my book. All right. Well, let's see. Not much in the way of organizations. I mentioned the Running to Honor 5K, which we'll be looking forward to. I don't know if you're still in there, Aaron, but I may just be in good enough shape to run that 5K this year. We'll see how it goes. But I'm doing about if I do 1 walk a day, I'm doing 2 miles. If I do 2 walks a day, which I've done about half the time, I do 4 mile. And my respiratory is getting really good. My shins are building up, so I may run part of the 5K this year. It's going to be oppressively hot. Lori suggested we do it at 5 in the morning. It's going to be July 31st in Atlanta. They call it Hot Atlanta for a reason. But yeah, and then there's another race, the race I talked about that Michael did to honor Georgia Fallen, and that's like a 162-mile race they do. And he's invited me to be there for the race, for the end of the race at Fort Benning. And I even hinted that, well, maybe I'll run his mile, because they do a mile per, they do a veteran each mile. And anyway, I might be a little over optimistic, but I feel fantastic after losing 32 pounds. So we'll see. Maybe I'll lose 32 more. We'll see. It's not out of the realm of possibility. But yep, there you go. There you go. All right. Well, let's see. Let me just see if I can pick out any other in the organization category. I know there's a lot of good ones that we have interacted with over the years, and I've got them all documented here. And anytime I hear something about them or we're involved in some capacity, I'll call them out. But oh yeah, Dan, that's a good point. I'm not going to be able to get up there, but I was just up there in October when they opened it up. But I'm glad that they appear to be doing that periodically, probably a few times a year. But yeah, one of the old planes, Dan's talking about one of the old planes that we flew on when we were in the Air Force is a museum piece now, newly restored at the Strategic Air Command and Space Museum there near Omaha. And I've been up there several times during the course of its restoration, but it's finally done and it's inside. It's officially a display, and it did so well. I mean, now they take tours through it and they open it up every now and then. It looks like they'll be doing that again next weekend, next Saturday. So I can't make it up there this time, but look forward to sometime down the road. Oh, Ken's just given me an announcement here that I had not heard. So the Navy's identified a sailor who was the sole fatality in Wednesday's crash of an E-2 Hawkeye off the coast of Virginia. It was Lieutenant Hiram Hanlon, assigned to Airborne Command Control Squadron and VAW 120 out of Norfolk. Died when the plane crashed near Wallops Island and Chincoteague, Virginia on Wednesday. Yeah. Did we mention that, Ken? Did we mention that one last week, or there was another crash? There was another crash up there with no fatality. It was an F-18, I think, but I had not heard about this one, so I'm definitely sorry to hear that. They must have, if there was only one fatality, then it must have been like on takeoff or landing or something. If the other crew members survived, I'll have to check that out. Thanks for calling that to our attention, Ken, and God be with Lieutenant Hiram Hanlon's family. God, can you imagine what they're going through? Just incredible. Jim, see, that's the thing we need to be doing, Jim, and I think that's the idea, is getting our children and our grandchildren out there to see what the heck it was that we did. Did we even know in the moment? I didn't. I tell you what, I wish I had been more aware of really the magnitude of what we were involved in. I think Ken was probably a little more aware of what he was involved in, sitting underground, ready to turn the key on a nuclear missile. But, and of course, we could do that from our plane too. But when you're in your 20s, your perspective is so different, at least mine was. I didn't, I took a little bit for granted, like it was a job. And but Jim, I'm excited to hear that you want to get your grandkids out there. Yeah, I would love to take my kids out there and grandkids. I think especially Colton, the oldest, the 10-year-old, and his big brothers. But good stuff. I love it. All right. Well, I didn't know that, Darryl. That's right. That's right. Yeah. So Darryl, next time you're up there, maybe you and Jim can get together and you guys can make a day out of it there with grandkids. That'd be fun. All right. Well, let's see. Hero segment. Ken just filled us in on. So thank you for that, Ken. I know we chronicled the Osprey crash last week. Man. Combat war is inherently dangerous, but preparing for it, if you prepared for it, it's dangerous. And every one of us has an example of where it was almost the end. I know there were times where I just thought, okay, well, that's it. Lori will figure things out because we're not getting home, that kind of thing. But God bless their families for sure. All right. Well, that's about all I could think of, folks, for this week. I think we're probably out of birthdays for a little bit, but I know I'll be going in a few weeks. I look forward to reporting on Mr. Burke's funeral, and that'll be a solemn occasion. I should hear back from the Patriot Guard riders hopefully tomorrow or the next day. But Sure do appreciate you guys coming alongside Lori and I as we just seek to keep our son's name alive, his memory alive by saying his name. And everybody deserves that. I tell you, they say a person dies twice, once when they take their last breath, and then again when their name's no longer spoken. And I think we're committed not to let that happen to our son. And we appreciate you guys being with us in that journey for sure. All right, folks. Well, have a fantastic week. I plan to. Got a busy week, but I'm looking forward to some of the things that are going on at work and at home. And we'll look forward to seeing everybody again here next Sunday night for another edition of Speaking of Zane. We'll see you then. Take care, everybody.